Good day, scholars, I hope you're doing well. What if during the battle with Cell, Android 16 didn't get to keep his head? What if there was no speech to Gohan? What if Cell just blasted 16 and vaporized every part of him in the process? Would Gohan get the right moment to become Super Saiyan 2 soon after? If everyone continued to get tortured or die? Was it inevitable for that power to surface without the famous Android 16 speech? We all know Goku saw a glimpse of that power when training Gohan in the time chamber. That's the whole reason he betted on Gohan in the first place. But Super Saiyan 2 wasn't harnessed at that point. Even though Gohan showed a glimpse of it in the time chamber, he didn't passively use it or train with it in the time chamber. It was just that one moment he showed it was a one-off to him. He didn't even know he had that. But he was in a good frame of mind to push himself further, even though it was at the end of their workout. You see, when it comes to drawing out power, the body is important to handle the power, but the mind is also important too. Being able to start the chain reaction to accessing power, because even the strongest warrior without motivation has already lost. So Gohan's motivation, trigger, to become Super Saiyan 2 is important here. But Android 16's speech followed by his head being crushed was the trigger in that moment tapping into his power. Think about this, if Hercule threw 16's head over to Gohan, but Cell instantly crushed it without any words from 16, Gohan's reaction may not be the same as the original, and he potentially would continue crying like he had been for the last half an hour, watching everyone get pulverized by the Cell Juniors. He already saw Cell vaporize 16, to which he thought he died at that point already, and nothing came of it. Without Gohan hearing those words, his mind would be in a different place. 16's words were 90% the reason Gohan found the reason to tap into his power, picking up the gun so to speak, where the head being crushed was pulling the trigger. The big difference between Cell Saga Gohan and the arcs before is that his motivation in battle completely did a 180. Think about it, leave my daddy alone, followed by the time he witnessed the Frieza Force hurt the Namekians, and so many other examples. Gohan would get so angry straight away and just dive headfirst into the battle when he had enough, because his motivation to stop others getting hurt outweighed his distaste for fighting. But in the Cell Saga, Gohan watched his family and friends get beat up for a while. Yes, a while, getting hurt badly until Cell even prompted the Cell Juniors to go ahead and kill them. And what did Gohan do? Nothing except shout no one more time. Saiyan Saga or Namek Saga Gohan would have snapped by then. For some reason, Cell Saga Gohan was far more distressed, far more emotional weight, and needed a kickstart to his anger instead of being able to tap into it all by himself. Not sure exactly why the roadblock happened at the moment the ball was in his court, but we can say Gohan alone dropped the ball and needed 16's words, as well as needing Goku later on to prevent Cell from blowing up the earth, and also needing Vegeta and the others in the beam struggle, all of which matters in this because if Gohan is too distressed now, he doesn't automatically go into 100% rage mode. Android 16's death didn't just make Gohan flip the switch, it was his words combined with the death. Words where Gohan felt like someone finally understood him. Not even Goku understood Gohan's mind at this point. Hell, that's why he quickly shouted to Krillin for a Senzu Bean the moment he realized he messed up, as he was thinking too much like a Saiyan father in power rather than thinking about his little boy who isn't a fighter like him. So if 16 died instantly, Gohan wouldn't have had that connection, and it would have been more distress on top of what he was already feeling. Another person dying because of me. No, that's not causing anger, that's causing Gohan to back away from the fight altogether in distress, like he was already doing. He felt alone. So let's say a Cell Jr. killed Goku and Gohan sees his dad laying on the floor in a bloody puddle, something like future Gohan looked like. Well, I truly believe that wouldn't add to Gohan's motivation or initial anger, but instead, first of all, destroy him from the inside with guilt and sorrow, to which even if he did try to generate some type of revenge angle there and then, he wouldn't be the same Super Saiyan 2 Gohan that we saw during the actual show. That Gohan was the one who listened to the words of 16, and every word fit to Gohan's mentality like a perfect puzzle set. It completed the trigger for him to tap into his power and use it against Cell with some directive. But even that original Super Saiyan 2 mindset was eventually obstructed by his own arrogance to not get the job done properly. So a Gohan filled with grief, guilt, sorrow, then getting angry about it definitely wouldn't be thinking clearly at all. It's even debatable if he would be thinking clearly to control his full power. He would be so tunnel visioned, thinking about Goku dying, thinking about his failure to act previously, where he could have saved him, not controlling himself correctly, that Cell would simply work around that with his own battle smarts. Without 16's message, based on how Gohan was already reacting to the others getting hurt during the arc, it's a good enough reason to claim Gohan wouldn't hit Super Saiyan 2 power if Goku just flat out died in front of him during his distressed moment. He would be in too much pain mentally to function right as a fighter, and Cell would eventually get bored and kill him. Remember, he's still a scared kid deep down at this point and felt alone on that battlefield and needed so much guidance that anger would just initially cover those true feelings. Android 16 gave Gohan direction. We saw how destroyed Gohan was when Goku died after teleporting Cell away. Now imagine Gohan before unleashing Super Saiyan 2 experiencing Goku's death there. The only reason he was so pissed off and wanted to avenge Goku when Super Perfect Cell turned up was because he had already passed the point of the Super Saiyan 2 activation. He was already accustomed to that feeling. But if that never happened, Goku's death would mentally destroy him so much that he wouldn't be able to get a good feel of that fire to fight back in the first place. Unless, you know, Goku gives a heroic speech before he dies, then there's that possibility those words and his death combined may work. But I think then we'd get a Gohan who is so enraged that it's dangerous for everyone around him on what may happen next. And Cell still has a chance to blow up if Gohan decides to torment him at any point, so it's still a bad outcome without Android 16. Like I said, in the past, Saiyan, Namek Saga Gohan, an uncontrollable rage burst would indeed happen, especially if he saw Goku die right in front of him, but only for a short while. So I think, and this is just my headcanon, that because Gohan had more control over himself and power after the time chamber training with Goku, because his training was all about suppression and control, very calming, perhaps that, combined with being a bit older and thinking a bit more than previous sagas, just suppressed his own aggression somewhat, and also his ability to act as a Saiyan warrior. It's all about controlling those emotions growing up. Of course, being a kid, you have less control over them the younger you are. So I truly feel he needed the right words that understood his character, and we can all thank Android 16. No, actually, thank you, Mr. Satan.